I'd like to call our next speaker, Mr. Zafshar. Salawat.
Assalamu alaikum. My lords, if there are any in the room, ladies and gentlemen, my friends, today is a particular honor for me because who would have imagined my presence on this stage? My father was born and raised in Kashmir. He grew up tilling the land with my grandfather and later went on to serve with the British Army and would become one of the first migrants to settle here in the 1950s. Great Britain offered them prosperity, hope, and opportunity. My father moved to the north of England in search of that very opportunity. He dreamed of a better life for his family in a nation where your name is no hurdle to success. We aspire to emulate the fine example set by one of the most noble families to have ever lived, the family of the Prophet Muhammad, and particularly his daughter, Lady Fatima, the beloved pearl of the Prophet, who in her divine eloquence and unprecedented patience established that success lies with those who remain steadfast and tolerant during times of hardship. How patient was Lady Fatima, who witnessed the placenta of animals being thrown at her father for preaching peace and tolerance. We are faced with a threat that is trying the very patience of the fabric of our society. A threat that is inspired by a false ideology. An ideology that is based on a perversion of one of the world's great religions. Violent extremism of any kind plays no part in our communities. The narrative of hatred of everything Western that is prevalent on some of our streets must be met with a counter-narrative. Challenging this narrative will not be easy. However, we must persevere until we reach a better day for our children and our grandchildren. We have a covenant with tolerant Great Britain, which we see as a divine commitment, where we will fulfill our obligations and share with you the unwavering faith in the possibilities of this nation. And we must be prepared to shoulder each other's burdens. My father has passed away, but never did a day go by where he wouldn't remind me of the endless opportunities to achieving your potential lie here with generous Great Britain. All religions command love, mercy and peace. Lady Fatima embodied the commands of God to show love, mercy and peace to one another. Terror, on the other hand, is the total opposite of religion. It is cruel, merciless, it demands bloodshed and spreads misery. This being the case, while looking for the perpetrators of terrorist acts, its origins should be sought in the incorrect interpretation of the true meaning of their faith. There are those in the world who oppress their own people, suppressing dissent, and will tolerate corruption and inequality. This mismanagement of people and economies leads to the youth growing up without education, without prospects, without hope, thus providing a fertile ground for mentally prepared recruits of terrorist cells. Whilst this is no excuse for violent extremism, it is one that is being used to recruit a new wave of terrorists here in our homeland and abroad. International and homegrown terrorists are recruiting and using the very concept of social exclusion, lack of prospects, and the mere shortage of meaningful leaders from the BME sector as a tool to wage hatred and discord in our communities. Islamic terror is quite a flawed notion, which contradicts Islam's message. That is because the religion of Islam can by no means see eye to eye with terror. The battles we must fight are those that we willingly join against ignorance and intolerance, corruption and greed, poverty and despair. We must not see the challenges we face just through the eyes of a Christian nation. We are also a Jewish nation, a Muslim nation, a Hindu nation, a Buddhist nation, a Sikh nation, and a nation of non-believers. How amazing is the diversity of our population. We all have a collective responsibility for preventing violent extremism. growing within our midst. We all have a collective responsibility in bringing peace and justice to the world. This can only be achieved through a multi-faith approach, with the full measure of our devotion to the freedoms our forefathers fought so hard for, which is why we must come together in a spirit of brotherhood to face our challenges together as one. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Our next speaker is a lecturer at the Islamic College. She is an established scholar and she's written many books. I would like to call Dr. Rebecca Masterton to speak.
صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم.